Okay, so we are live with another session of Transformational 360. It's going to be another double header, so we'll have two people most likely. So first, I'm really excited for this person because I think in last year December she chose that I would do two programs at the start, directly two programs. So she's going to do the practitioner and the master's one. Okay, so we have Margaret Fialho. I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly. I've practiced
Yes.
it. I've practiced it. Okay, so Margaret is our NLP master practitioner. She graduated in the month of December, and I think I've seen a lot of change in her already. With the bright smile, and so she's been one of the very interesting participants. Over to you, Margaret. Tell us about yourself.
Okay. Ali, thank you for having me. Firstly, I'm trying not to make this very formal because I feel I'm talking to family. So the
Yeah.
team has been more like family. So I'm going to keep it a bit light as well. So yes, hi everyone. My name is Margaret Fialho, and I'm a timeline therapist and a life coach. Uh, NLP for me is like the biggest leap of faith that I took for myself, honestly. It is one of the biggest gifts that I, invested in myself. Normally we keep on buying gifts for ourselves, and this one was very special for me. And I also feel it's the biggest self-discovery journey that I embarked on, for myself. So yes, I graduated in December, like Ali said, December 2019. I work for an MNC. I juggle, and I wouldn't say struggle, but of course there's always a learning fire within. I always want to learn and get better and be a better version of myself, which was why I chose, to do this. I know it comes across, sometimes a little selfish, and people say, why did you do this? And honestly, I wanted to do this for myself. I felt like, there were certain things like, we talk about knots in our head. I just wanted to untie certain things in my head and move forward. So during the weekends, Ali, I kind of make time for myself. I participate and give my time towards workshops and help people who want to help themselves. So basically, it's not just about forcing people or grabbing them and saying, "Hey, TK, become a better version of yourself." I think this is a by choice thing, and this is something I do. And the good part, I've discovered more about myself. I started writing poetry. I love to
Okay.
sing. So I've kind
Okay.
of kept a balance of everything. Yeah.
Interesting. So I didn't know that you do poetry as well. So this is
Yes.
something that I've just found out about you. So Margaret, so let's go back a bit. So how was your life before NLP, like before December when you take the decision, and also tell me what made you decide that I want to do this program. What was that moment when you said that this is what I want to do in the month of December?
Hmm. Okay. So, of course, as a person and as mashallah say, I was raised in a very, we've been raised very to be strong and resilient. But what really happens, Ari, is that life can be like a little roller coaster at times, and I think one needs to evolve and change, and that's just the way it is. And I feel that is also one of the beauty of people being resilient, because people feel that okay, now you're strong and now nothing's going to happen ahead. I think resilient people have to be ready for anything at any time, and
Yeah.
you do it with a very, very empowering attitude. So what really happened was that, so life coaching was always in my what do you call it, in my checklist with Hana. Okay, I always wanted to get into it, to be very honest. But in the last 2 3 years, I gave everything else priority but myself. So
Okay.
it was, yeah, so it was like doing everything else, making other people's, in terms of a profession, doing things and just being the third wheel. But of course, and in in September, I kind of worked on a project, Ali, and I'm not ashamed to say it. I was so close to the finishing line, and it fell flat. you know, And that is when I thought that, okay, now I have reached my rock bottom. Because, of course, just like everyone, we're all human. We have, like, past baggage with us. We have things that, I compared my life with others for the longest time. Like, there were times when I wanted to go into chartered accountancy. I'm not saying it's a bad thing to be a chartered accountant, but for me, it was like, nah, I want to do better than what my, the girls who I studied with. So it was more about, others, and it was not about me. So there's a very thin line about being self obsessed and self sufficient, so that you can
Okay.
help. Because I feel that until it's like you cannot pour from an empty cup. So if I'm not,
Yeah.
in that thing, so I cannot really make a change. Anyways, so I took this leap of faith in October, and I met with Arsalan and Sabahat. And what I loved about it is that meeting. So it was not about convincing somebody. It was just about, this is the program and this is, what happens. So the whole thing was my choice. So
Okay.
I got into it, and my God, I was blown away. Yes, I was blown away, because, of course, there were many things that, it's like I said at start, Ali, it's a self-discovery. There's so many things that, so that, when we talk about those clouds, the negative emotions, sorry, negative thinking emotions, and your inner conflicts and your limiting beliefs, that is something that, we have, unfortunately, you know, we have carried that around with us, and we moved on. And
Yeah.
now it's time to, like, undo that, like, toss that out of your back. And, so when I did that, if I talk about my practitioner experience, um, my prime focus, honestly, Ali, was not that to be the famous one and to make friends. My main objective was myself, because I did this for myself. I invested in myself. So
Yeah.
people, find it. I don't know, when I talk to people sometimes, and now I think, we're changing. When people start investing in themselves, I feel that is the right change. I feel that it worked
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah.
So yes, I was very, very, I was very warmly welcomed. The team was amazing. Like I said, they're like family. They don't just forget about you. कि हाँ ठीक है certification हो गई होगी तो. So they took care of me, not just me, the entire people around as well. So it was very interactive, and there were some moments where, I felt like, okay, am I in the right place? I
Okay.
want, like, this happens. Like, when I came home one evening, and I could literally feel there was a shift already in the third day or fourth day. Because I know it might sound a little awkward, but yes, I became silent. I became more observant, about what I was feeling. So, like, even when I came home, my husband asked me, "Are you okay? Did something happen?" I said, "No, I'm good. I'm fine." You can feel there's already a shift that is taking place.
Yeah.
Something is changing in your head.
Yeah.
So, towards also, I loved that there was this board practice that we did at the end of the practitioner, where we had to put down our, challenges and things
Yeah.
that hold us. And we wrote that on the board. And I would never even think about breaking that board, but we all did it,
Yes.
as
Yeah. I remember that. I remember that. Yeah.
so the learnings were intense. And I believe it's not just about the certification, Ali, it's about the self-interest. Like, I had promised myself that, I am doing this, I'm investing. It was during, my Christmas festivities. My family was in
Yeah.
a shock. What are you doing? You're not going to be physically available. But of course I managed that. I wouldn't want to wait for another 6 months or next year, कि अच्छा जब practice master होगा तो so there were so many things that in my head, and I said, now I made my decision, so I will do it.
Yeah.
So just when practitioner was getting over, and the dates of master were also kind of announced, that it's going to happen continuously.
Yeah.
And I was also asked, नहीं मुझे करनी है, because honestly, and I say this with a lot of respect, everyone has different ways of, uh, you know. For me, it was I wanted to be continuous, with the entire program. It had to be a continuous, thing for me in my head. Like I didn't want to break. So one day before Practitioner Ali, this was the turning point. So Arsalan announced in class that he said, how the master will, the how the protocol is in terms that you have one person who is willingly, wanting to come up and be a part of the main intervention. It's like, you're like the first person. I wouldn't say to take the bullet, but to kind of, to make that change in terms for yourself, and it takes a lot of guts.
Yeah, it does.
It does, Ali. And again, I went into my, mute mode. I came home very mute. Family asked me what happened. I said everything's fine. I did not sleep that day because the first thing in my mind was like, "Acha, log kya kahenge?" And Ali, just to intervene in, into the current situation, this sentence does not exist in my dictionary today.
Wow.
you
Okay,
know,
that's big. That's big, Margaret. That's very big
yes,
because
Ali. Yes, sorry, you're saying something.
yeah, that's very big because this is the line that log kya kahenge. It's been ingrained in the mind for so long, and I'm really proud that you said that it's not no longer in my dictionary. You
It's
know,
not there.
yeah. So
No,
continue,
Ali.
continue,
Ali,
continue.
because I feel as long as you're not harming anyone or you're not disturbing anyone's lifestyle or anything that, you're not offending anyone or something and you're in your own lane. So I be it. So, of course, that night as well, I didn't sleep back to the day before the master crack. Now, that was the day, like drum roll, we all sat, it was day one, and Arsalan saying, "Welcome everyone." I wouldn't even, like, of course, I just nodded my head and like smiling and like, and he explained the same thing that he did the night before, the evening before in class. And he said, "Okay, now, uh, who wants to, who, of course, with their own, I raised my hand, like I was the first to raise my hand. And of course, I won't lie to you. I was like, what am I thinking? That's just the way I'm being very human about it. I wouldn't say I was
Yeah,
all, soldier. Yes, I still had a little, I was a bit reluctant, like, Margaret, what is wrong with you? Okay, are you crazy? What? Anyways, so I would call this journey like, you sit on a flight and the door closes of the aeroplane and then the plane takes off. There's no looking back. You can't move, once the plane is in the air. And then there was no looking back after that, Ali.
yeah,
Mashallah. It was one of the most beautiful experiences of my life. Um, yes, the interventions were very intense. Not just mine, everyone's. So
yeah.
it was like a very family oriented. Like it's like you're sitting with your family and you're talking. And what I loved, honestly, Ali, there was no judgment. You know,
Yes, there was no. Uh,
And this is why one of the reasons why I'm talking to you today, because if I felt judged, I would never turn back. And I think that's not just me, I think everyone
that's
is
everyone.
that
That's
way.
everyone.
Even you
Yeah.
would be that way. You know, so that experience, I don't know, Ali, the interventions, like there's so much that I've learned today in terms of, anchoring my, like sometimes I even anchor the experience that I had in Master Prac, because
Okay.
yes, it's like, so now today, if I'm like kind of trying to do something really huge and it's like kind of in the way, I'm like, dude, I've done that, so now I can do this.
Yeah,
you know?
that's a
So,
very
yes,
positive anchor.
yes, thank you. So, it came along. Christmas was beautiful. I didn't
Yeah.
have to, of course, definitely I missed my family. We had our own set of dinner and lunch. But, this was special. It was like, there was, I don't know, it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Uh, what really happened after that, Ali, is that, it is like, and again, I wanted to be okay. There's a question. So do I need to answer it now or later?
No, no. Continue it. We'll answer it later. Yeah, we'll answer it
Okay.
later.
Okay. Thank you. So, do you want me to go ahead and tell you
Yeah,
the
go ahead.
after? Okay. So,
Yeah. So go ahead. Go ahead with the story. I'm enjoying the story. Keep going.
Okay. So now the thing is that it's like it's like, okay, fine, I've done my certification and everything. I had already planned what I wanted to do ahead. Kind of give my time towards workshops, like get into hardcore the whole, the concept. Um, Mashallah say, like today, I love the stage. I love the mic, you know,
Yeah,
you
it's
know
good. It's good.
I can be myself. There were times that I would, in public speaking, I would stutter or, get all like, anxiety, like, like even, yes, like I said, life happens to everyone. Even if I feel like I need to pause, I will pause. I will speak my mind in terms that, so that to keep it very real. So yes, there were lots of positives during the situation. Ali, what was not working earlier is that I never aligned my goals to a purpose.
Okay.
I don't know if if this makes sense, but for me, I had to align things towards a purpose. The purpose is what? To become a better version of myself, and to help people to help themselves heal. So many people, even if they came to me and said that, they wanted to get into this, that, but I felt they held on to so much of baggage of the past. So how do you move on with that? Like, okay, fine, you can move on to a certain level, but it's definitely going to stumble. That's what happened to me. So yes, had great experiences. I met some great people who were empowered. Like, I feel the right people come to you. It's like a magnet. Like
Yeah.
normally, for me, like I had to chase certain people earlier, chase certain friends. Ki, हाँ, ठीक है, मुझे सिखाओ, I think automatically people understand your energy, and like, you're like the sun, the shining sun,
Yeah.
in those
Yeah.
clouds. So one interesting story that I have,
Yeah.
Ali,
Go ahead. Go
that
ahead.
just before the lockdown, so I registered for an obstacle race, and this race was being organized by one of the leading, I would say, I don't know, the leading fitness foundations in Karachi. And that I'm not sure. I think they were like around 5 kilometer or 10 kilometer race. It was like a full thing, and they had all sorts of obstacles, like from carrying sandbags to hiking to going under like barbed wires in the mud, and to and to like jumping a certain height, right?
Okay.
So some of my friends in the gym, and they were like, Meg, ye to abhi we have to do this. I'm like, dude, I would be like the last person on earth. But under Sena, I wanted to do it. I don't know why, because I've always like I tried to, indulge into physical activities. I did it in terms I registered for it. In the morning when I woke up, I had the same feeling in my head that what did I do? So I wanted to send this message across since we're live, that I think for me at least the most human thing is that people think that acha, theek hai, now you're a life coach and now you're a timeline therapist, so nothing can ever come in your way, and we're human. Sometimes life throws certain things or memories to us where they tell us acha, theek hai, now batao kya karoge. So I feel the more you practice, the more you implement the NLP tools and the techniques in your life, the learnings become so massive that it becomes easier to kind of go ahead and do what you have to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, so of course I went. I think I was around 3 or 4 minutes late, so I had to join another group.
Okay.
I won't lie to you, Ali. When I got there, and so everyone was like in their own lane, and it's I don't know if I can mention the name, but it was like a huge setup.
Okay.
So then you see from far people are winning the line, and then somebody else is jumping somewhere. And Ali, I was looking for the emergency exit.
Okay.
Like, what is wrong, Margaret? ये तो तुम ज़्यादा, like maybe I've been overconfident with myself, and like because I had gotten a message a night before from a person, and they said, Meg, you couldn't do it. How can you do it, Meg? You're not the fittest person around. Um, so there you go. Log kya kahenge? Log ne ye bola hai, So it's something because probably that person could not press you. I mean, I look at it that way. So, anyways, yeah. So, anyways, I think I must have lost Ali, but I will continue. So anyway, so when I kind of, took a moment to reflect and to understand why I had chosen to do this, there was no looking back after that. So there was no, kind of course, I did not win the race, but I did receive a medal and there was a sense of achievement. So I'm going to wait for Ali, I guess.
Hello?
Hi, yeah.
Yeah, I'm connecting. I'm connecting.
Okay, all right. Okay. Hmm. Okay, Ali's coming back. Yes, well, yeah. Okay, so what do I need to do? No problem. Okay, so I'll just mute myself. Yeah, okay. Sorry? Yes, it's connected. I'm still online, yeah. All right, so Ali's gonna be here soon. So for those waiting, they can just grab, a cup of tea or some coffee or some juice.
Yeah, hi. Meg, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
I'm so sorry. I think there was some internet disconnectivity. Uh, so let's continue this. Let's continue the story. So you were, as I remember correctly. So you were in the race. You were a bit late. You were there. You had certain thoughts in your head. Okay, what will happen next? You know. So
Yeah.
continue from that. Yeah.
Okay, so in a nutshell, basically the protocol, the program of the race was that everyone goes in batches, and the batch that I had to go with, because it was and I take accountability for that. I was like 3 minutes late, so they had to move forward. So I had to go with the batch who was not trained with, but they were very kind and said,
Okay.
okay, fine, come and be a part of our team and everything. But of course, when you train with a certain group, then you understand the mindset and everything. So they were, of course, doing their own thing. So there was a part where I was, by myself. So of course, that was the part, Ali, where I felt like, I had not made a good decision by doing this, and maybe that person who messaged me, an evening before was absolutely right and said, you wouldn't do these things. Like sometimes even I wouldn't think, carrying a sandbag or jumping across a certain 6-7 feet, height, or climbing a wall, or lifting a heavy tire, and of course even kind of scrolling on wet mud. So um, that's where the incantation worked for me. Yes. So the one that we did in class, Ali,
Okay. Do you
and
remember the incantation? You
of
remember the
course,
incantation?
of course, it is like part. I mean, it's a part. All that I need is within me. Now I'm confident I can do
I
this.
can do it.
Yes.
Yes, yeah.
So it is just something, and I moved on, and it was the most, again, it is also one of the experience that I anchor again for myself, till
ठीक है,
today. And
ठीक है.
it's been a very empowering journey. Why I told you this story also is, there are times where life can, of course, throw things at you, like they say, give you lemons. And so I say this with a lot of respect and dignity for people who are, stuck, and who are in a, they are very hesitant to move on and to not, then I can make, I will never forgive that person. I respect that, I respect, thank you, my brothers. So
Okay.
I respect that people have gone through, certain traumas and certain experiences, and it is hard for them. So I have a lot of empathy for them as well, but nothing like choosing a life for yourself, an empowered life for yourself, and moving on. So yeah,
So this is
so
very, this is very exciting that you remember that during that thing, you remember the incantation, you remember your positive anger, and you just did it. So I think आपने सवाल के जवाब तो दे दिया जो I think सरफराज ने पूछा था कि what were the three learnings and changes after NLP. So can
okay.
you just recap again कि क्या तीन ऐसी चीजें अगर आपको सबसे ज्यादा याद हो on both the journeys, what were those three things?
See, thank you, Sarfaraz, for your question. So the key learnings and changes after NLP, number one, I had, and I still do not compare my life to others. I was in a rut race thinking, कि अगर वो कर रही है, तो I have to do the same. I think we are all in the same lane, and I think nobody deserves to lose. So do your own thing, be your own winner. The second thing is that I have, like, gratitude is a part of my life now. It could be while I'm in the car, or even while I'm talking to you in my head, I'm thanking, God for this moment and bringing me so
Wow.
far at least. The third thing is that when I wake up in the morning, I try to not take myself too seriously as well. Because
Okay.
sometimes when you're too much, I feel, you're too much into things, interventions, or talking to people. I think we need to kind of lighten up as well.
Yeah.
I've tried to enjoy myself a bit, be with the right, I always say, the right kind of people, because you need people around you to empower you and to be version, rather than saying, so yes, these were my key learnings for sure.
Yeah, interesting. So I've learned a lot, and I think this side of Margaret, I didn't knew. With the race thing, I didn't knew. This was a new story for me. And the way you ingrained NLP in your life, that says lot about you. So what's future for Margaret now? What is Margaret now looking into? What are the biggest challenges that Margaret is now focusing on? Okay, this is my next mountain that I want to climb.
Oh, thank you. Good question, Ali. So, in continuation to that, of course, then came like I said, when you're resilient and when you have it in your head that, what's the next thing that's going to happen, although you don't wish for it to happen, but it happens.
Yeah,
So of course the pandemic happened to everyone, not just me.
yeah.
There were different challenges. So that also helped me to cope up with, things, and, declutter content that I was following on social media, or even certain people, just to be away from the negativity. How it helped me further on, especially in my professional life, and also this profession, like in terms of the time that I contribute on weekends for my workshops and, the counseling bit. Um, it has helped me to manage my time very well. Now, because of that, I kind of, gotten enrolled and certified as a mindfulness trainer as well in my professional life. Yes. Yeah. So
Okay.
that was also something. So I feel I did it for myself, but of course, if it serves the purpose of, helping, and, helping people to cope up. So that was, one of my yes, it was a challenge. It wasn't easy. because there I feel in life coaching, like for me, I can get a bit very energetic and very, a little bit more empowering. But mindfulness is something that, then I have to kind of be a little bit more, composed and stuff. But I love it.
Yeah,
And
that's
definitely
good.
I want to take this to the highest. I mean, and I want to do it in my own space, Ali. Like I said, I'm not going to go back and compete with others, so I'm going to,
Yeah,
use my, like I always feel also, use your, like they say, use your pain and your, into strength, convert it into strength,
convert into strength. Yeah,
rather
I think
than,
that's the idea.
yeah, like I just feel like for myself as well, why be a victim, so I would like to add on that, be victor, get into victory mode
Yeah,
than, being
yeah,
victim. So yes, there's a lot
yeah.
more, but I want to do it in my space. Yeah.
Sure. So I've heard a lot about this, Margaret. So all those people that are watching, we had a bit of an internet problem, but we are back. All those people that want to now again do the NLP practitioner program, it's happening in the month of September. It will start from 12th and it will end on 20th. It is online for now. And I think Margaret has also signed up. She'll do the online session as well eventually in the upcoming month. So I'm looking forward to that. So if anyone wants to connect with you, Margaret, how can they do that? If someone get inspired by this story that you just said, how can they get in touch with you?
So Ali, I have my Facebook. Of course, it's personal, but of course, I'm open to getting messages, and I kind of, kind of filter out, the actual. Like I would love to hear from people who are actually serious about the change in their life.
Okay.
Honestly, that's where I would like to invest my time. And while I like even probably 3 years ago, I was more into planning, but I like I said, my entire values got changed. Like for me, of course, self-respect is always the first core value for me, and the second I love is action takers. Like get
Okay.
into action
Action
mode.
taker.
Commitment. So commit to yourself and get in touch with me, and then of course, if it
Yeah.
works out and it's your choice, and end of the day, it has to be
It's
your
your
choice.
choice.
Yeah.
So I really like the vocabulary that you're using. You use the word empowerment, you use the word action, you use the word self-respect. So I'm really happy that you say these things, and I think at the end of the day, words mean a lot. So thank you so much, Margaret. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much for being. I think I didn't realize that this much has happened even in this time with the race, within the pandemic. We've done a lot. So I'm really happy and really proud,
Thank you.
to call you one of our top master practitioners. So
Thank you.
thank you so much, Margaret. Thank you so much, everyone who joined in. I'm so sorry that for the internet connection.
That's all.
This will be in on our Facebook page as well and our YouTube page. So you can watch it. Take care of yourself and Allah Hafiz. Right?
You too. Allah Hafiz, everyone. Thank you, Ali.